Hi, it's Richard from Intelligent Advisor IT Consulting with another in our series about the example decision services. This one is about inspection fees. You'll recall that we mentioned inspection fees a couple of weeks ago because it's actually connected to another one called follow-up fees in the logical sense. They could both be used in the same Oracle Policy Modeling project. But I'm just going to go ahead now and download the inspection fees JSON file from the online help, as I've shown you many times before. It comes with its own help page to remind you that if you want to do this properly with both of the decision services, follow-up fees and inspection fees, you will also need to download the slightly modified example Oracle Policy Modeling project as well. You can see that it is essentially creating a fee structure for overtime work done when inspecting, for example, houses. So depending on the day of the week that you go and the time you go, you may find that you have to charge more to your customer. So let's go ahead and import that JSON file that I just downloaded. As you can see, the inspection fee is going to be pretty much the reason we come to this decision service. It's going to be a flat fee followed by an overtime loading. And the overtime loading is going to depend upon the time of day. And you can see we have Saturday in the morning, Saturday in the evening, and Sunday slightly later, and Sunday slightly earlier. We also have other loading factors, and therefore we also have, if you think of it like an ERP system, maybe we're integrating with an ERP, so we have codes relevant to ERP codes or HR codes to say what time people have been working. So I'm going to commit that decision service because I want to be able to use it in my Oracle Policy Modeling project, which I downloaded also from the same help page. Don't forget that you'll need to go and get whatever you've called your decision service to remap it, because you probably didn't use the name that they did when they created the example. And everything should fall into place in the sense that you shouldn't need to modify any of the mappings. The follow-up fee should just be, the inspection fee should just be mapped correctly. Let's go into debug mode, and I'm going to start this up by creating a date for my inspection, putting in my name and saying where the inspection is taking place. You can see that in building industries or in other industries involving site safety, this is very straightforward process. Now, what really matters here is that you use the follow-up required. If you want to combine the follow-up fees with the inspection fees, well, obviously there's an inspection, which is me clicking checked, and then there's a follow-up fee, which is me clicking follow-up required. So if you want to do that for real with both of the decision services, that's how you would check it. I'm just going to use the inspection fees decision service for this one. So I'm going to bear with me while I fill in a few of these, because obviously I want to go through the process of my inspection, and there are so many things to be inspected. If you do get bored and you decide to use the Data tab in the debugger, make sure that you go to the very last page and sign it like I just did, and at least test that the inspection has generated an inspection fee. Even though you might think you've completed everything, go into the Data tab and hunt out any unknown values that you might expect to not be unknown or uncertain. You can see there's one I've forgotten there because I went too fast in my demo. I actually skipped a page, so I'm going to go and set this to true or false. So now I have my fully working project with my mapped in decision service value for my inspection fees. So now we know that it works properly. And if you're using the follow-up fees one as well, you can test it in the same way. So now that we know that it's working, what can we do with this project that's been set up this way? Well, the first thing we could do, of course, is we could actually go to the decision service and we could change or modify significantly how the fees are going to be calculated. So I've added a new row using the little buttons on the left here, and I've added Wednesday. And I'm going to add a overtime loading as well as some timing. And there we go. And a new HR or ERP code called WEDMAX. And I'm going to add another row, and we'll do the same thing for the afternoon. Another overtime loading and another code. And just to be clean and tidy, I'm going to merge these two cells. Whoops, there we go. Merge these two cells, just like I would have done in Oracle Policy Modeling. Commit that change. And of course, this means now that I want to go and test this. So for this particular part, I'm going to switch into the data tab of the debugger, I'm just going to go hunting for wherever it is I need to enter the date and time of the inspection. I want to make sure, first of all, that everything works properly without going into my new custom Wednesday settings. So I'll just put a normal date in and make sure that everything appears to be okay. Yeah, so it's correctly interpreted the date. Yeah, I've got an inspection fee and a follow-up fee. All seems to be working, so I haven't broken anything, which is what you usually do when you do a live demo, just to check that everything's working. So now we'll go back, and I'll put it between 8 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, because those are the details that I gave. So I'm going to use a time of day that is actually corresponding to the new rates, rather than just a time of day that's outside it. So we'll go back to the date and time attribute, and I'll put it, let's do it 5 o'clock, which should work. And we can see that Wed Late Max has been selected, and the pricing is now different. And if I switch it back to a different time, we see it's gone away again. So we now have a modified decision service taking into account the overtime rates and overtime codes for Wednesday. Hope you enjoyed it. See you for the next one.